Hello. So, again, I'm continuing my series on videos of games that I own but I've only played once. Now, in the case of Space Hulk, that's a little bit of a cheat because this is Space Hulk 4th edition, which I have only played once back in 2015, but I did previously own the 3rd edition, and I played that about 8 times. Then I sold it off, and then when the 4th edition came out, I kind of regretted selling off my 3rd edition, a year or two earlier, so I bought the 4th edition. Anyway, I had only played this edition once, so and like I said, that was back in 2015. Played it with my son. So anyway, I did go ahead and pull this out and played it yesterday. So I'll go ahead and give you a bit of, I'll do a setup of one of the missions and how to play, and then a couple thoughts on it. Well, there's about, I think, 16 missions in this mission book. I'm going to set up and play the second mission. The only reason I'm not doing the first mission is because it's got some special rules, and I just wanted to go over the basic rules, which I think are pretty much covered in the second mission. So the mission book will give you an image of how to set up the map. The game comes with lots of different tiles and configurations, so you just got to find the right tiles to set up. And then wherever there's one of these blue marks on the map, that's where you place a door. Where there's these arrows, you put the arrows similar to this in those spots, and that's going to be the Genestealer entry points. In this area here is where your Space Marines will be entering the map and deployed. So it pretty much gives you which Space Marines you're going to be using. The game comes with I think like 12 different Space Marine models that have varying equipment. So anyway, this forces and deployment section of the mission book tells you which Space Marines you're going to use, tells you how the Genestealers start, and the victory conditions. So in this case, this mission says we're going to start with a sergeant with a storm bolter, that's his gun, and a power sword. One Space Marine with a heavy flamer, 2 Space Marines with storm bolters and power fists, so that's just these guys, and then 1 Space Marine with a storm bolter and chain fist. And we'll get into what the different weaponry is when we start playing the game, but that's a setup portion for the Space Marines. And like I said, the mission book shows you a image of how you should set up your map. So again, like I said, there's lots of different tiles for lots of different configurations. So you get out the appropriate tiles and build your map and place the doors where I showed you where those blue marks are on the map diagram, and the entry points for the Genestealers on the map. And then you just put your starting Space Marines wherever the map tells you they go. And then I just have an assortment of my Genestealers over here, and then there's still some in this bag here if I need more than that. Got my blips, which are these markers. Just put them, shuffle them up, put them in a stack face down, or a couple stacks, however you want to do it. And then in this mission, the Genestealers start with 2 blips. So I'm just going to put mine on an entry point here and an entry point here. And then they receive, in this mission, they receive 2 more in the reinforcement phase. Other part of setup is you take these command point tokens and put them in a cup or some kind of opaque container. I'm just putting mine in this draw bag. And then just set aside the various tokens you might need for the mission that you're going to play. So these are my heavy flamer tokens. These are my guard Overwatch jam tokens. And that's pretty much all that's required for this map, this mission. And then you'll just set your mission status display, which is this board here, somewhere within reach, probably of the Genestealer player. Probably needs to be more in reach of him because he's responsible for moving the command point token. This is the turn area. In this mission, the number of turns doesn't really matter, so there's not really any reason to keep track of turns. If you're using psi points or the assault cannon, then you'd keep track of its shots here, but we won't be using those in this mission, so we'll only be using this top portion of the mission status display. And again, these tiles and boards are kind of shiny, so bear with me if they're reflecting the light here. There's not much I can do about that. And other than getting your timer set aside and ready to use, that is about it for setup for this mission. And again, for every mission, the map's going to be built different. The Marines you're going to use are going to be different. Maybe a different... there's a Broodlord Genestealer that may or may not come into play. So there's just some various elements that may or may not be in each mission. But that we're all set up for the mission that we've got here. I do want to mention that the game does not come with the figures painted. You know, I did my mediocre paint job onto these Genestealers and these Space Marines. Certainly not good quality paint job, but I just like it better than the plain plastic. So let's get on with how to play. Okay, so the first thing is the command phase, and that's where we'll draw out of this bag to get a command point token. Now, they are going to be numbered 1 to 6, so the Space Marine player draws, and he sees what he got. Now, I got a 2. That's kind of a weird figure 2, but you can see it matches the 2 on the board, which is not very good. You want to have a higher number of points. So, as long as you have a sergeant still in the game, you have the option to try to redraw 1 time. So I'm going to do that. Let me mix my markers back up and see if I can get something better. Now you have to keep whatever you draw the second time. And somehow I managed to get the exact same thing. Anyway, you put that on the 0 space of the command point track. Now your command points can be used, the Space Marine can use those on his turn however he wishes. So normally each Space Marine figure gets 4 action points on their turn, and we'll describe how you can use those here in a minute. But those command points, you know, and I drew a 2, can be used to do extra actions. The Space Marine player can use those at any time on his turn, or he can even use them on the Genestealer's turn if one of his figures sees one of the Genestealers perform an action, like move in front of him or attack in front of him. He can say, I want to spend command points, and he can spend them to do an action with one of his figures. Any one of his figures, not just the one that saw the Genestealer take an action. And each time the Space Marine player uses a command point, either to take an extra action either on his turn or the Genestealer turn, the Genestealer player must move this command point marker along the board. At the end of the round, after both players have taken their turns, this marker is revealed, and if the Space Marine player used more command points than he actually was supposed to, depending on the token that he drew, if he used more, then he just automatically loses the game. But during the round, the Genestealer player does not know how many he has to use, so the Space Marine player can look at this at any time if he wants, if he can't remember. But it's the Genestealer's responsibility to move it when the Space Marine player uses it. Now, as soon as the Space Marine player has drawn his token and it's placed on this status board there, then the Genestealer player takes this timer and flips it. I'll put it here on this board. So the Space Marine player only has until this timer runs out to take all the actions that he's going to take on his turn. So that is not the case when it's the Genestealer's turn. They have an unlimited amount of time. And what that's supposed to represent is that the Genestealers are, super fast, super quick creatures, that they can move at really fast speeds compared to the Space Marines in their power armor. So that's why the Space Marines have this limited time to take all of their actions, and the Genestealers do not. So what can the Space Marines do on their turn? Well, as I said, they have they each have 4 action points that they can spend. So it costs 1 action point to open a door, and to open a door you can just slide it however you want to do. So open or close a door, that costs one action point. Oops. Alright. Costs 1 action point to move a Space Marine forward. It costs 1 action point to turn a Space Marine 90 degrees. It costs 2 action points to move a Space Marine backwards. And when a Space Marine moves forward, it can move diagonal, can move straight ahead or diagonal, can move backwards, again for 2 points to move backwards, either straight back or diagonal. A Space Marine may not move side to side. He must turn, and that costs an action point, and then he can begin moving that direction. Okay, a Space Marine for 1 action point can fire his Storm Bolt, or his gun that he has in his hand there. That costs 1 action point, and he has an unlimited range as far as he can see. Now, obviously, his vision is blocked here by this door, so he wouldn't be able to see anything past here. But if this door was open and there was a Genestealer all the way down at the end of this hall, he could shoot at him. So for 1 action, he could shoot at this Genestealer all the way down the end of this hall, because he does have line of sight to it. And when a Space Marine is firing his Storm Bolter, which is the main weapon, he rolls 2d6, and that would be terrible. Anyway, he hits on a 6. If one of his dice is a 6, he gets a hit, which would kill the Genestealer. Now, if he fired at this Genestealer on with 1 action, he rolls 2 dice and hits on a 6. If he does not move and spends another point to take another shot at that Genestealer, he gets a sustained fire bonus, so then he hits on a 5 or a 6. And that remains the same, so if he spends another point to take another shot at that Genestealer, again, he gets the sustained fire bonus and hits on a 5 or 6 again. And the Space Marine will lose his sustained fire bonus if he takes any other action besides, a shoot action, or if he loses line of sight to the Genestealer he's shooting at. So, for instance, if he took a shoot action and then this Genestealer moved here and then moved back, he wouldn't have his sustained fire bonus anymore. Okay, another thing a Space Marine can do with his action points is be put on Overwatch. So a Space Marine can spend 2 points to go on Overwatch, and when you do that, you just put this icon near him somewhere to indicate that he's on Overwatch. And what that does is anytime a Genestealer takes an action that he can see, he gets to fire at the Genestealer. So, for instance, if this guy was on Overwatch and it was the Genestealer's turn, and they moved this Genestealer into this spot, well, he has line of sight to him. He took an action. He took an action in his line of sight by moving into it. So even though it's the Genestealer's turn, the Marine who's on Overwatch gets to take a shoot action at doesn't cost him any action points. So he would get to take a shoot, rolling his 2d6. On a 6, he would get a hit. Then if that Genestealer moved again, still in his line of sight, he would get to take another shoot action, and as long as he hadn't moved or taken any action other than a shoot action, he would get the sustained fire bonus and get to fire again. So each time a Genestealer takes an action in his line of sight, he gets to fire. And again, he would, after the first shot, he would get the sustained fire bonus as long as he hadn't taken any other action. One difference I didn't mention is I said when the Space Marine's taking a shoot action, he has an unlimited range. He could see all the way down this line of hallway and shoot. Well, when you're on Overwatch, your limit is 12 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if a figure moved into this space, that would be more than 12 spaces, so he would not get to take his Overwatch shot. But as soon as he moved within 12 spaces, then he would get to fire on Overwatch. Now, one kind of gotcha when you're firing on Overwatch, if you roll doubles, then your gun jams. And to clear the jam, you have to spend an action point. So if you're firing on Overwatch on the Genestealer's turn, if you don't have a spare command point to use when your gun jams, then you just won't be able to fire. Now, if you were firing a Genestealer and you rolled double sixes, even though your gun jams, you've still hit him and killed him. And if you're getting the sustained fire bonus, if you rolled double fives, your gun would jam, but you would still have hit him and get to kill him. But then your gun would be jamming. You would have to clear it before you could fire it again. Now, if you don't have a command point to clear it automatically at the end of the round in the mission status phase, then your gun jam is automatically cleared, and also in that phase any Overwatch markers are picked up. And to indicate that your gun is jammed on Overwatch, you just flip over the Overwatch marker and put it on its jammed side, so you'll know you're jammed until you've been able to clear it. Okay, another thing a Space Marine can spend action points on is for 2 action points, he can put himself on guard. And what that does is, I guess we kind of need to talk about close assaults and how the Genestealers attack. So since the Genestealers have no weapons, they just have their tremendously sharp, hard claws, they usually attack with a close assault action. Now, a Space Marine can too, but Space Marines armed with a bolter are much better off firing their weapon than trying to do a close assault. But anyway, to do a close assault, you have to be adjacent to your target, and facing your target. So if this Genestealer was to do a close assault action, the only square he could do a close assault action is the one right in front of him. He could not close assault any of these other locations. It has to be the target directly in front of the way you're facing. And to resolve a close assault, the Genestealer gets to roll 3 dice, and the Space Marines only get to roll 1 dice. And then you compare the highest roll. So the Genestealer would take his highest roll of 6 against the Space Marine, and he only got a 1, so the Genestealer would obviously win that, and he would kill that Space Marine. Now, a Space Marine Sergeant, which this guy happens to be, they get to add +1 to their die roll, so he would actually have a 2, but that would not help him against a 6 here in this case, so he would still be killed. Now, one other option that this Space Marine has is he has the Power Sword, which allows him to parry, which can force the Genestealer to re-roll his highest roll. However, in this case it wouldn't matter, because even if he re-rolled this 6, which is his highest roll, and got a 1, his next highest roll would be a 4, which would still beat the 2 that this is, so the Genestealer would still win in that case. So that's close assault, and the reason we got to that is because I was talking about the Space Marine can spend 2 points to set himself on guard, and in that case, when a close assault happens, it allows the Space Marine to re-roll his dice 1 time in a close assault. So, you know how we had got that 1 last time, obviously we would want to re-roll that, and still no better, we got a 2, and with the Sergeant getting a +1, that would only give him a 3, so he still would lose. So close assaults are never in favor of the Space Marines. One other thing about close assaults, if like say if the Space Marine had been facing this way, if the attacker wins a close assault, he always kills whoever he's attacking. If the defender wins and he's facing the attacker, then he kills the attacker. But if it were this case where the Space Marine or Genestealer was facing away from the attacker and he happened to win, well, he does not kill the attacker. He just gets to turn to face the attacker. And then it would take another close assault action to attack again. Alright, another thing to mention is I did mention that a Space Marine can move for 1 point. You know, move forward, move backward for 2 points. If a Space Marine has line of sight to a Genestealer or whatever, when they move forward, they can take a free shoot action. Or if they move backward, they can take a free shoot action as they move if they have a target. I mentioned that a door If a Space Marine or a Genestealer is adjacent to a door, they can spend one action point to open it or close it. But a Space Marine can also shoot a door, and if they roll a 6, they destroy the door. So that's, and again, they could do that while moving, so he could move forward for 1 point, take a shot at the door, and hopefully he gets a 6 and destroys it, so he doesn't have to later spend a point to open it. Okay, so now we've pretty much talked about how the Space Marines move and fight. Let's talk about a little bit about the Genestealers. They get 6 action points. The Space Marines only get 4. The Genestealers get 6. Again, sorry for this glare. Let me see if I can. So they can move. They get 6 action points. And a difference when they move is, I had mentioned that the Space Marines, if they want to turn, they have to spend an action point to turn 90 degrees. Well, the Genestealers, when they move, they can move and turn 90 degrees for 1 action. They don't have to spend an extra action to turn 90 degrees. And one other difference is, I mentioned the Space Marines can move forward, diagonal, backwards and backwards diagonal, but they can't move side to side. Well, the Genestealers can move side to side. And again, they could move and turn for 1 action point. And the Genestealers also, for 1 action point, can turn 180 degrees, where the Space Marines cannot turn 180 degrees. They would have to spend 1 action point to turn 90 degrees and then another action point to turn another 90 degrees. And other than that, the movement's the same. It does cost a Genestealer 2 points to move backwards, just like it does a Space Marine. As I mentioned, the Genestealers don't have any weapons other than their claws, so they can only do the close assault action, which we just talked about a few minutes ago, how they do the close assault. And to open doors, just like the Space Marines, they have to be adjacent to the door and then spend an action point to open it or close it. And a Genestealer, just like a Space Marine, can close assault a door to destroy it. So just like when they're attacking a Space Marine, they would roll 3 dice and they would need a 6 to destroy the door. Alright, then what we haven't talked about is blips. Now, Genestealers normally enter play as a blip. So that represents a contact on the Space Marines, radar or whatever. So they don't know how many Genestealers a blip represents. And the Genestealer player can move blips just like he moves Genestealers. They move. They get 6 action points, so they can come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have no facing, so they don't have to turn or anything when they come around a corner or anything. They just take their 6 action points. Now, there are some restrictions with blips. A blip cannot move into a Space Marine's line of sight. So if this blip was here, he would not be able to move here because that would reveal him. A blip can never move into a Space Marine's line of sight. If the Genestealer player accidentally moves a blip into a Space Marine's line of sight, he has to put it back in the last space that it moved into, and then it can't take any actions for that turn, any more actions for that turn. And one other restriction is that a blip, even if this Space Marine was facing this direction, and this, so this blip could move here, because he's not in his line of sight, but you cannot move adjacent to a Space Marine even if they're facing the other way. A blip is not allowed to move adjacent to a Space Marine. So how do blips become Genestealers? Well, at any time on the Genestealer's turn, if a blip has not taken an action, has not been moved, then the Genestealer player can choose to reveal that blip. So he flips it over and it'll show a number of Genestealers that this blip represents. So it can be from 1 to 3, I believe. So this one is just a 1. So he would, if he chose to reveal this blip, he would just replace that blip with a Genestealer. And then that Genestealer can be activated to take its 6 actions, since the blip that was converted had not taken any activations that turn. Now, if you reveal a blip that says 2, again, one of them has to be placed where the blip was, and the other Genestealer has to be placed adjacent. It could be placed in back of it, in front of it. If the blip was here when you revealed it, you have to put one where the blip was, but then you could put one adjacent to it, anywhere that's adjacent to it. Now, one thing, if there's a Space Marine there and you had a blip here and you revealed it, you could put one behind it, or you could put the one here where the blip was, and you could put one behind it, but you could not put one in front of it because that's in the Space Marine's line of sight. So whenever you're converting a blip, you can't place a Genestealer in the line of sight of a Space Marine. Now, need to talk about line of sight. So this picture pretty much shows best how line of sight is. So here's this Space Marine model. You have unlimited line of sight, directly ahead, and then it expands. But if it's blocked, if another figure or a door or something blocks your line of sight, is in your way, that blocks line of sight. And if you're not sure, like most games, if you can trace line of sight from the middle of a square to your middle of your target square without intersecting a door, a wall, or another figure, then you do have line of sight. And that can be seen here. This Space Marine has line of sight to that Genestealer and that Genestealer. This one has line of sight to this Genestealer, but not to this one because this figure blocks his line of sight. And if you always have to, like I said, when you reveal, you have to place the initial one where the blip was, and then any additional adjacent to it. If you don't have a spot where you can place one adjacent to it, then you can't place it. Now, a blip can be involuntarily revealed if, say, on the Space Marine's turn, you had a blip here and they opened this door. Well, now that blip is in their line of sight. So now that blip must be converted, and that's called an involuntary conversion. So you would have to flip it over, and then again, the Space Marine, in this case, in the case of an involuntary conversion, gets to place the Genestealers. Now again, he has to place one in the spot where the blip was, but then in this case where you're going to place two, he could decide to place the other one behind it. Whereas if you voluntarily did it, you may want to place it in front, putting it closer. But when it's an involuntary conversion, the Space Marine decides, where the Genestealers are placed. Now the Genestealer gets to choose the facing, so Space Marine, couldn't place them both facing that way. He places them, but the Genestealer does get to choose the facing. And as I said, in this particular mission, each mission will tell you, but in this mission, you start with, the Genestealer player starts with 2 blips, and then on his turn, the beginning of the Genestealer's turn is the reinforcement phase, and in this mission, he'll get 2 additional blips. And when the Genestealer gets his blips, he can look at them and see what, how many they actually are, and then he chooses at what entry point he wants to place them. And then during his action phase, he can move the blips as we've described. Now, blips can open a door just like Genestealers and Space Marines. One action point to open it, one action point to close it. So at the beginning of the Genestealer's turn is the reinforcement phase, and that's when they get any additional blips. And like I said, for this mission, it's 2 additional blips. And they can place them outside one of these entry areas. Now, if there's a Space Marine within 6 spaces of one of these entry areas, then any blip that was placed in that area during that reinforcement phase cannot enter the board during that turn. During the next turn, then even if that Space Marine is there, it can enter. But during the turn that it's placed outside the entry area, if there's a Space Marine up to 6 spaces away, then it can't enter on that turn. And to go along with that, a blip does not have to enter the board during the Genestealer's action phase. It can just stay outside, the board at one of the entry points, and that's called lurking. So up to 3 blips can lurk outside an entry point. And I didn't mention this earlier, but when the Genestealer player voluntarily converts a blip, he can do that outside of the board in the entry area and convert a blip here. So you can have up to 3 Genestealers and up to 3 blips off the board in an entry area. That pretty much covers the basics of blips and movement with Genestealers. Like I said, there's some of these Space Marines have more than, we talked about this Sergeant's power sword and his bolter. Some of the Space Marines have some other weapons that have some additional features, which we're not going to talk about because they're not used in this mission, but we will talk about the heavy flamer because that's used in this mission. Oops. So when the heavy flamer is fired, it can be fired up to 12 spaces away, and it can target a space or a Genestealer. And so say for instance, we had 2 Genestealers in here. It costs 2 points for a Space Marine to fire the heavy flamer. But if he fired it in here at say this Genestealer, it has an area effect. So it will affect this whole tile section. So whatever tile section you fire it into, it affects that entire section. So it would affect everyone in this section. And so you'll roll a dice for each figure, and on anything greater than a 2, then that figure is killed. And if a Genestealer did get lucky and you rolled a 1 or a 2 and the Genestealer didn't get killed, that effect is persistent until the end of the turn. So if you fired that on the Space Marine phase and then on the Genestealer turn he activated and moved that Genestealer, he would have to roll the dice, and again on a greater than 2, for each movement he takes in that space affected by the flamer. He would have to do a roll, and on anything greater than 2 he would be killed. And the persistent flamed area does affect line of sight, so if a Genestealer was on the other side of this affected tile, there is no line of sight. It's blocked by that burn persistent effect. But at the end of the round in the mission status phase, this is removed. And there are a limited number of shots with that heavy flamer. You can only take 6 shots and then it's out of ammo. So in this particular mission that I'll show some example turns of, to win, for the Space Marines to win this mission, they all start in this section like I showed during my setup. But for Space Marines to win, they have to get the Space Marine with the heavy flamer has to fire his heavy flamer into this section. If the Space Marine with the heavy flamer is killed, then the Genestealers win the mission. Alright, well, I think I've covered most everything. Like I said, there's some Marines that aren't involved in this mission that may have weapons or powers that I'm not going to talk about, but this will just go over the basics. So I guess what we'll do is just go over a few sample turns. I've reset the Space Marines for their starting position. Now remember, the heavy flamer needs to fire in there for the Space Marines to win. The Genestealers start with 2 blips. I've placed 1 here and here, and then they get 2 more in the reinforcement phase. So now we start with the command phase, where the Space Marine player, he's going to draw a tile, and so I'll stick with that. I do have my sergeants alive. I could have tried to redraw and see if I got better than that, but it was about a 50-50 chance, I guess. So I'll just take that, and it's the Genestealer's responsibility to move that. So now the Genestealer player flips this timer, and I have that amount of time to take my turns. So I'm going to start activating this Space Marine. He's going to open the door for 1 point. Then he's going to move 2, 3, 4. Then this guy's going to move 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I've activated all of them. Now I could spend, remember I have these command points where I could spend up to 3 more points if I want to. So I will say, I'm going to tell the Genestealer player, I'm going to use a command point to move this guy. So now he'll move this up 1. And I'm going to say I'm going to use another command point to move this guy. And I'm going to shoot while I'm moving. So hopefully I get a 6 and just destroy that door. So I should have shot when I was moving in before, but I forgot to do that. So let's just see. Yeah, I didn't. I got a 5. Anyway, I probably should have been shooting while I was moving forward, since I wanted to get that door out of the way, but I didn't. So I'm going to stop there. I still know, the Space Marine player still knows he has 1 more command point to spend. The Genestealer player really doesn't know how many I have. But I'm going to end right there for the Space Marines. Okay, so it's the reinforcement phase for the Genestealers, so they get to draw 2 more blips, and he can look and see what he's got. Oh, 2 3s, that's pretty good. So we'll say he's going to put 1 there and 1 there. And then he says, alright, he's going to activate his blips. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to open this door, 5, 6. And this guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this guy is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at this point, I didn't reveal any of them. Okay, so the Genestealer player has finished all his turn. Now we reveal that I had 3 points and I only used 2. If I had used more than 3, then the Space Marine player would automatically lose. I didn't verify that I hadn't used up all my time, but I guarantee I did not. So now we start again with the command phase. So the Space Marine player draws a 4. He's good with that, so he gives that to the Genestealer player who places it. And then Genestealer player starts the timer. So the Space Marine player, he opens this door, and now this blip is revealed because he has line of sight to it. So that's an involuntary conversion, so he has to reveal it. It's 3. So the Space Marine player gets to place those. So he's got to put 1 where the blip is, and then 1 adjacent, like so, and then the other one in front. Now during voluntary conversion, you can't place them in line of sight of the Space Marine, but obviously this is involuntary. Now if a Space Marine was on Overwatch, when a conversion is done and figures are placed in front of him, he would get to fire. But obviously that's not the case here. This used blip is set aside. If your stack of blips ever runs out, then you flip those over, shuffle them, and make a new stack. Okay, well, he's going to use his second action to move and fire. So he's firing all the way down here. So he rolls 2 dice. Hits on a 6. He misses. He's going to use a third action to move and fire again. And he jams. Double 6 is a jam, but he does kill this guy. Now he's jammed, so he's got... Oh, no, it's not a jam because he's not on Overwatch. You only jam on Overwatch, so he's good. He still has 1 action point left. He's going to spend 1 command point and his action point to put himself on Overwatch. Because remember, it costs 2 action points to go on Overwatch. Alright, so this guy's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3. And I still have a little sniggle of time left, so I'm done for the Space Marine phase. Okay, the Genestealer gets 2 reinforcement blips. So I think he'll put 1 here, and he'll put 1 up here. And then he's going to move this blip. So he's going to move here for 1, open this door for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's going to move, he's going to reveal this one, so he gets 2. So he's going to put 1 where the thing is and 1 in front. And I think he's going to go ahead and reveal this one. He gets 3. So that's 1 he's going to put there, 1 behind, and he'll put one in front. And because those hadn't moved, he could still activate those. So he's going to activate this one and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and open this door 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he still hasn't activated these. I mean, he converted that blip, but he hasn't. But this guy's on Overwatch, so now every time this guy tries to move up toward him, he's going to get to fire. So he's going to activate. He's going to move 1. This guy gets to fire on Overwatch. He did not get 6, so it's not a hit. He's going to move 2. Now he gets the sustained fire bonus now because he hasn't moved, so he hits on 5 or 6. Gets a 5. This guy's dead. Alright, this guy's going to move 1. No hit. 2. Now I get the sustained fire bonus. No hit. 3. Still not a hit. 4. Now it's a jam. He does kill this guy, but his gun is jammed. But he still has command points, so he says he's going to use a command point to clear his jam. But unless the Genestealer player wants to activate and move these guys, he's got no one else. Well, he still has these guys off the board he could move. So he's going to do that. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to move these guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Alright, so now it's mission status phase. We remove any Overwatch guard tokens or whatever. Check the token. He could have spent 4. He only spent 2. I think that's everything need to be done in the mission status phase. So now it's beginning of the Space Marine's turn, and they get to draw a command phase. They draw a command token. Okay, I got a 3 again this time. Just to show, since my sergeant's still alive, I can try to redraw, see if I get something better. 4 again. There is something other than 3 or 4 in there, but he's going to take that, so he'll put that. And then the Genestealer player flips the timer. Alright, remember we're trying to get over there. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he's going to spend, well, he's kind of in a pickle. He's going to spend 1 command point to move forward 1 more time, and then he's going to spend 2 command points to put himself on Overwatch. Alright, then this guy's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And this guy's just going to go on Overwatch. Because he's looking at his little detector screen there, and he's got some blips coming up that way. He knows something's coming. Alright, so that's going to end the Space Marine phase. Okay, the Genestealer player draws 2 blips and determines where he wants them to come in. So he's going to put 1 here, and we'll say he's going to put 1 here. And let's just look at what they were. You got a 1 there and a 3 there. Alright, so now he's going to start his turn. So let's just go ahead and start activating these. So this one goes 1, 2, and then the Genestealers can turn as part of an action. Now, as soon as he moved here, this guy, the sergeant, because he's on Overwatch, he gets a shot. So he hits on a 6, miss. Okay, the Genestealer moves forward again so that he gets to shoot on the Space Marine gets to shoot on Overwatch again, and now he'll get the sustained fire bonus 5, so he kills it. So this guy is dead. Alright, this guy's going to move 1, 2, 3. Now the Marine gets to fire 6, he kills it. And now 1, 2, 3, 4. The Marine gets to fire. Miss. 5. He gets the sustained fire bonus, so that's a hit. And dead. So he did pretty good. Okay, now we'll activate these. So 1, 2, 3. Now this guy is not on Overwatch. 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, we're going to have him reveal this Genestealer. It was 3. Now here we kind of made a mistake. We should have revealed that before we got there, because now I'm only going to be able to place, I was here, so I'm only going to be able to place 2. So I'll put this one and this one, and see, I would be able to place a third, but I can't place it adjacent to where the blip was. Okay, now that blip had not activated, so we revealed it, and now these can take their actions. So one one to open the door and not knock everybody over. But that reveals this guy who is on Overwatch, so now he gets to take a shot at this guy. Miss. So that was 1 to open the door, 2 to move there. Marine gets to shoot again. Hit. The Marines are doing good. Alright, now this guy's going to move 1. So the Marine gets to shoot. Miss. 2. Marine gets to shoot. Miss. 3. Marine gets to shoot, and better hit this time. Well, he kills him, but he's jammed. So this guy's dead. And he's jammed. And now that's going to reveal this one, because now he has line of sight to this. So that's just 1. But he can't fire because he's jammed. So Space Marine player says he's going to spend a command point to clear that jam, which he does. And this guy's now going to move 1. Oh, good grief. Good grief. So the Space Marine gets to fire and kills him. Wow, I'm getting lucky. Alright, I'm going to move this blip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll go ahead and bring this blip in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is going to end the Genestealer turn. So now mission status phase. We'll clear these Overwatch tokens and check that we didn't use more points than we had. We didn't. Put this back in the bag. Alright, I drew again. Got the 3 again. There really is more than a 3 and a 4 in there. And now it's we flip the counter over. Space Marine's turn. He is going to fire on this guy for 1 action. Miss. He's going to fire again for another action point on that guy, giving him the sustained fire bonus, and it's a hit. No jam because I'm not on Overwatch, so this guy's dead. He's going to use his 3rd action to fire. Miss. And he's going to use his fourth action. No, he's going to use his fourth action to move forward. And that's the end of his turn. We got to get over here with this guy, so we got to move. So this guy's going to move 1, 2, 3. Now that's going to reveal this. There's 3 there, so that's not good. So we're going to have to put 1, 2, and 3. Alright, he has 1 action left, so he's going to fire and hope he gets a 6. He misses. So he's going to be in a bit of a pickle on the Genestealer turn. So this guy's going to move 1, 2, and he'll spend his other 2 to go on Overwatch. Oh no, he's my heavy flamer. He can't go on Overwatch. Only a storm bolter can. Alright, so 1, 2. He's just going to stay there. 1, 2, 3. And this guy will just go on Overwatch here. Alright, we'll do one more Genestealer turn, and we should see a close assault, and that should pretty much show everything, so that'll wrap it up. Alright, Genestealer draws 2 blips. Let's see what we got. 3 and a 1. So we'll put our 3 over here, and we'll just put our 1 right here. Alright, let's start right here. This guy's going to close assault this sergeant, so he gets to roll 3 dice, and his highest is a 4. So put his dice here. Sergeant just gets to roll 1, but he gets +1 on his die because he's a sergeant. So 5. Oh, well, he got lucky. He kills this guy. But now this guy can move 1. He's not on Overwatch, so he just doesn't get to fire. This guy's going to attack again. He gets 3 dice. Alright. So 2 6s and a 5. He better hope he rolls a 6. 5. Now he gets +1, so that's a tie. Now he does have the power sword, which has the parry power, which would let me make the Genestealer re-roll his highest die, but he still has another 6, so even if I make him re-roll 1 6, he's still going to have a 6. So we have a tie at 6, so nobody wins. But that was only his second action, so his third action is he's going to close assault again. So he got 4, 5, 6. I can use my parry and make him re-roll this. Now he got a 6 again, so I better hope I get a 6. I don't, and so now my sergeant is dead. So you can see we're kind of in a pickle now. But anyway, I think that gives you a good idea of how the game plays. Again, to win, this guy with the heavy flamer's got to get and fire in here, but he looks like he's going to be in a little bit of a pickle with these Genestealers coming around, and more coming, so it's not looking too good, but you never know what could happen. Anyway, that's the game. That's one mission. Again, there's lots of missions with lots of different map configurations. I like this game. I think it's a lot of fun playing with, another person. When you're playing solo, it's not as fun. It's still a little bit fun, but not as fun because you know what the blips, how many figures are on the blips, and you know how many command points you have, and you know what strategy you're doing. So again, it's not quite as fun by yourself, but it's a load of fun with 2 people. And like I said, there's other weapons that some of the Marines have that come into play, and there's the brood lord for the Genestealers that has some extra powers and such. But anyway, I enjoy this game. I need to get it played again before another 5 years goes by. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.